Today I would like to talk to you about the Holy Trinity. No, not that one. Follow me and I'll tell you more. So what do I mean when I talk about the Holy Trinity? Well, really this all depends whether you shoot with prime lenses or zoom lenses. For me, I generally use zooms, and really the Holy Trinity is a trio of zooms which will cover most situations that you shoot. The advantage of keeping it down to just 3 lenses is quite obvious. It keeps the weight down, offers versatility, and as I say, will cover most things that you want to shoot. So generally the Holy Trinity of zoom lenses will be a wide angle, a standard and a telephoto. For me, with the R, I tend to use a 16-35 f4, a 24-105 f4 and a 70-300 L series lens, 5.6 I think. Now you're probably wondering why I choose to use f4 lenses and not f2.8 lenses. There's a lot to be said for using f2.8 lenses. The versatility that you can get with these lenses is incredible. And to be honest, I could probably go and shoot any commercial job, virtually any wedding, most landscapes, with a 24-70 2.8. Covers me for everything. But it's heavy, and it's always about trade-offs. And really, the whole point of the Holy Trinity of lenses is it's about the compromise. It's about getting a working solution that's not too heavy and that will work for you. Hence why I use f4 lenses. 16-35 f4, I'm generally using it on a tripod. It's a great wide angle. If I was just shooting landscapes all day, I probably could get away with just that one lens. 70-300, brilliant outside, excellent. Taken indoors, pretty much useless, too slow. But for landscapes again, most of the time on a tripod, or it does have image stabilising, so it's really versatile that way. It's a great lens for isolating details. But for today, we're going to talk about my standard kit lens. Or in fact, we're going to talk about the standard zooms in general. For me, I'm using the Canon ESR, and I'm using the kit lens, which is the 24-105 L series RF fit lens. And quite frankly, I could shoot most of my landscapes with it. I really could. Wonderfully versatile. Quite compact, image stabilised, and does entirely what I need it to do. So the thing with the Holy Trinity of lenses is sometimes you don't want to take the 3 lenses. So it's a case of identifying which ones you can leave out. For me, if I want to travel ultralight, I'll just take the 24-105. So what can you actually do with a standard zoom, be it 24-70 or 24-105? Well, let's have a look at some of the photos I've taken over the years, and it'll give you a good idea. I think in some ways we can consider the standard zoom the Swiss Army knife of lenses. It's not the widest, and it hasn't got the most zoom on it, so it hasn't got the most reach, but it offers a nice compromise. You can go from wide, 24mm, 28mm depending on your zoom. You can go from wide to a little bit of a telephoto effect. It makes it a very versatile lens, good for sort of wide vistas, and also quite nice for isolating little details. And it can also sort of act as a macro lens, you know, put it on maximum zoom and get as close as you can to a flower, for example, and you can actually create nice images. There's an obvious reason why most kit lenses are around the 24 to 70 mark. Versatility. And if you only have one lens, you can probably get away with just using the standard zoom. You can't say the same for the 16 to 35 or any other sort of wide angle lens. And you can't say the same for like your 70 to 200s or your 70 to 300s. They're a little bit more specialist. Okay, perhaps you're shooting sports all the time. You wouldn't dream of going and shooting with a 24 to 70. But also, if you're shooting sports all the time, you're probably going to want quite a fast lens, something that lets in lots of light so you can freeze the action. So the point I'm trying to make is, whilst the 24 to 70, or 24 to 105 in my case, is not the most exotic lens in the world, it's not the sort of lens that you really strive to own, it probably is the most versatile. So if I was stuck on a desert island and only had one lens, without a doubt I would choose the standard zoom. As I rode the bike back to the van, the weather started to improve. So I contacted my friend and we both decided to have a wild camping trip that evening up at the Drakestone in Northumberland National Park. I decided to take the standard kit zoom with the Canon EOS R and unfortunately made the decision to leave the video gear back in the van, simply to keep the weight down. It was a chilly night, but the light in the morning was beautiful, and the following shots were taken with the standard kit zoom on the Canon EOS R. In many ways, the standard zoom forms the core of the Holy Trinity of zoom lenses. Whilst perhaps it's not the most exciting, I think there's no denying it is the most versatile. And if you can only ever take one lens with you, it's a good choice. In fact, it's something I actually really recommend. Go it one day, just take your standard zoom with you, and it makes you work a little bit harder. Instead of changing lenses and not deciding whether you want to go wide or put the zoom lens on, just take one lens and just use that, work within the restrictions. Sometimes restrictions are good in photography. But for next week's video, I'm going to be looking at what was my favourite lens of the Holy Trinity, but I've sort of fallen out of love with, whilst it is the lens that most landscape photographers think is essential. Yep, it is the wide angle zoom. Until then, I hope you enjoy this content. If you would like to see more, hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you next week. Bye.